Hi. Okay. Here we are. It's July 9th, and we are doing Knowing Your No. And I'm here with my lovely, wonderful friend, Ife, and Ife Thomas of Her Glow, and really many other things, but we're going to just start with Her Glow. So Ife and I have been friends for a while. We met in Los Angeles, and in our, early LA. It's weird to say. I'm not going to say it's the past, because we are still those same people, right, Ife? And we still have the same hopes and dreams and all that stuff. But it's wow, we've got a couple years, I won't say how many, of friendship under our belt, which is actually a very beautiful thing. I love it.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
It makes me happy. Okay, so just for the people that do not know, would you mind introducing yourself in the way that you want to? So I know who you are. Can you just tell everybody who you are, where you are, and what your entrepreneurial things are, please?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. I'm so happy to be here with my girl, Pep. I always say her name like that. Anyway, so I am Ife Thomas, and I'm actually located in Seattle right now. Seattle is where I was born and raised. I've lived different places, Los Angeles, the East Coast, here and there, London, but I've been back in Seattle for a bit. Heading back to California, though, that is the goal, back to Southern California. I am an entrepreneur. I'm the owner of a beauty and wellness brand for all women called Her Glow. And a part of Her Glow has a couple different facets, two different facets. There's the Her Glow candy shop, where I sell ear candy, hat candy, ring candy, purse candy, all of the jewelry, candy, accessories. I'm wearing some now, wrist candy and some ear candy that I made. So we have the retail side of Her Glow, and then we have Her Glow Wellness. I'm also a certified life and health coach. And Her Glow Wellness is all about supporting and empowering and uplifting women. And I teach a workshop. I'm bringing that kind of back to life. But the focus today is on the retail side, on all the fabulous, fun stuff that makes you look pretty and feel good, right?
Yes.
So yeah, and I'm also an artist. I'm a singer and a songwriter. Pep met me as a singer. I still am a singer, but I mean, when she met me, I hadn't started the candy shop yet. And all that. I was still obsessed with jewelry, like I always have. But I didn't have what I have now in that sense. So
I love that.
Singer, songwriter, artist, and okay.
Yes. That's I love, first of all, your voice is so calming to me, Ife, and it always puts me in this fantastic place. So I thank you for that, because energy is everything. You and I talk about this a lot, but just the calming energy, and just for us to be like, we are here and fabulous. And I just want to reflect that back to you, because I think you're a beautiful soul.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's start with the UK portion of life, because I feel like that was a time to me that stands out, where that was a big no, like, whoa, big no, but also it set you on the trajectory to get to Her Glow, correct, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
would you talk about what was happening for you? Were you sitting on the ground? Where the heck were you when you're like, dude, I got to make a change? And then how did it get you to going to school in the UK?
Great question. Of course, we'll do the long story short version. Basically, I had left LA, and I'd come out of a very unhealthy romantic relationship. And I was back in Seattle, and I had to regroup. I had to come home. It was one of those kind of situations. I had to come home. I said, you need to go home and just, right. One of those. Anyway, and so I had been back for a couple years, and I had heard about this program at Goldsmiths, which is a part of Goldsmiths College, which is a part of the University of London, through another singer that I know, and who you all may know from American Idol. Anyway, she was posting about this program, and it compelled me to check it out, because she was saying she was going to apply and all this. I was like, oh, maybe we could do it together. I was like, London, I haven't been back to London since college. I did my senior year of college in London. Yeah. And so I hadn't been back, and I thought, gosh, I would love that. I was just open to a change, and open to, it'd been a while since I'd been in school, and I vowed to take away from school. And I said, this program is a year back in London, and it's an entrepreneurship focused program. It was an MA program. Master of Arts in cultural and creative entrepreneurship. That's the official
Cultural. Okay.
title. And so I applied, long story short, got in, and I was off to the UK. And while I was there, one of our assignments was that we had to do our big kind of project, which was the point of kind of the class, right? We had to present
Yeah.
it at the end of the year, at the end of the program, I should say, was we had to come up with our own business idea.
Mhm.
So Her Glow started, actually, the early iteration of Her Glow was going to be a hair salon for
Oh, really?
Black women, because when I got to London, I hadn't been there for more than a week, and I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating, I kid you not, I was so disturbed by the Black women's hair that I was seeing. I would
Mm.
go to the store, I would go to the train, the tube,
Yeah.
doing all the thing. I'm moving into the dorm room, I'm doing all the thing. And I'm just like, what is going on with Black women's hair? What is happening?
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
so I was so appalled. I had everyone cracking up laughing in my class. I'll never forget when we each had to go around and announce our topics. I was just like, as a Black American, I am just appalled. I am so disturbed. And everybody thought I was kidding, but I was just like, I was like, what? It's almost like all the Black women, because, in the UK, the women are either directly from they tend to be directly
Mhm.
from the Caribbean or directly from the continent. So, that sent me on this curiosity journey. I was like, why is everyone's hair
Oh.
looking crazy? What is happening? Did they not know how to do Black hair? Well, the
Oh,
answer
great.
to
Oh,
that
like
is
shops.
yes. The answer to that at that time, this was a while ago now. This was 2014.
I
So
hear you.
it's changed since then a little. I haven't been back yet.
Mhm.
But now there are more Black salons. There were a couple. So that's what started. It was initially me and my bestie, one of your good buddies, one of your sisters too, our friend Kibi
Yes.
Anderson. Actually, she and I started it together initially, and then eventually I took
Oh.
her, she stepped out, and then we were gonna do. I thought to myself, I said, why doesn't Her Glow be like a Black salon in London so we can provide some of these services? We can bring, and then the idea was to bring over American hairstylists and have
Oh.
them do, because what I found in my research, as I was starting to research the paper and research the project, I
Mhm.
said, okay, so they were basically, the issues were, one, all of the hairstylists were trained to do European hair. We're in Europe, right? Well, an extension of
Right.
Europe,
I know
right?
what you're saying.
So they weren't trained to do Black hair. That was not prioritized. It was not. And then that was the first thing, was the lack of education, which wasn't
Mhm.
really a surprise to me, right?
Mhm.
And then the next thing was, the people who did know, there just weren't very many of them. So there were like a few salons here and there, but they weren't prevalent.
Right.
And then I kept getting responses from women as I would interview people and do all the things, right? The research
Mhm.
things.
Market research. Yeah.
They were just like, yeah, the market research. They were just like, well, they kept referring to to American. Well, you have so many salons. And I realized, oh, that's the real difference here. I can go anywhere in America, and I haven't been all over our great country, really, everywhere. But most
I
of the
hear you.
major cities you go to, I'll say that, you
Yeah.
can find someone to do your hair. You find a Black hair
Yeah.
salon. There are levels
Mhm.
to it. Some are going to be
Sure.
more expensive than, but we have all
Yeah.
this, the luxury of variety,
Gotcha.
and they didn't have that. And so I kind of
Um,
added another layer to it. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be interesting to maybe bring some Black hairstylists here and maybe do some workshops, or have them come once a month, or have something. And then we can treat some of the women here to what we have.
yeah.
Because the majority of what the women were doing were either braids, but they were extremely grown out. There was no
Or,
maintenance. So
oh,
it
the
was either
maintenance.
braids,
Mhm.
or it was their natural hair, or it was just a maintenance issue. It wasn't so much styling, styling,
Mhm.
but also maintenance. And I could tell, I was like, and so when I started asking women, they were doing it at home because they either
Oh,
couldn't
so yeah, everyone's
afford,
doing their own hair. Yeah.
yeah, or they couldn't afford to go to the stylists that were there or not. So anyway, the first iteration started off with that idea.
Wow.
And then as we kind of dove more into that, and then Kibi stepped out, and then I continued, I said, no, this isn't going to work. Um,
Mhm.
we're
There's
not
a no.
hairstylists. Yeah, that's a no. That was the first big no. We're not hairstylists. So we're not going to be we're not going to be
I'm not
standing
saying
in
that.
hair salons all day, right? Does this make
Yes.
sense? Um,
Yes.
just as we started really thinking about it. And then for me, I had to say no to that also, because what started to also rise were the other parts of Herglo that I wanted to touch on. I said, well, actually, I want to focus more on wellness. I want to
Yes.
focus more on some of that stuff. And later on, around 2019, I would say the fall of 2019, a friend of mine at the time encouraged me to just start selling earrings, because we were both entrepreneurs. We both were business, always hustling and da, da, da. And she was like, she's called me one day and said, you need to start selling earrings.
Yeah.
Here's how you do it. And so she introduced me to drop shipping, which was something I
Oh,
started
wow.
with, and then that evolved into Etsy. And then
Got
I
it.
said, no, I need my own website, my own thing. Too many fees, too much stuff with Etsy. Then it
Sure.
evolved into my own, to the candy shop, because it started with ear candy. That's how this first
Yeah.
started, was selling ear candy. And then it expanded. Well, why do we have to stop there? Let's do hat, because I love it all. I'm an accessory fanatic.
Yes.
Bags,
Yeah.
hats, rings, all the things, every coat,
All the
all of it.
things.
And so I said, well, why don't I start with jewelry? Because I make jewelry. And so I started making, everything evolved, right? It evolved from this one thing into the other. And I landed on, and what stuck was the jewelry. That's where I'm
Yes.
most at home, right?
And to
And the
me,
wellness. Yeah.
and that totally makes sense, just from the point of, and you know what, and I have the earrings here, and I forgot that I'm not going to get out of this chair and go grab those earrings, but I do
Okay.
have my Herglo earrings in the bedroom. What I was thinking, what I'm hearing, Ife, too, is just some reflection, is because whenever you were on stage, or whenever we were out, whether it was going to get coffee or whatever, you always had some sort of beautiful earring on, whether it was dramatic and bold and long, or just stated. And so I think that makes sense. Like, it worked with what you were already doing, and just kind of incorporated into what you were already doing and even known for.
And that's what I thank you. I agree. And that's what I learned is really the foundation of entrepreneurship. There are two foundations quickly of entrepreneurship. One is, what problem are you solving? Right. And the
Yep.
second is, start with what you love, what you already are
Yes.
good at. And then you expand from that. And then, and if you just happen to love something you're not good at, you can hire somebody to come in and whatever, but
Right.
start with your wheelhouse of what is your thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I love that. So what problem are you solving? And then start with what you love.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yes.
And in a way, then that helps you say no better to other things.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't know how to do that exactly. Like, no, I really don't want to be doing hair. I just wanted to help women look beautiful. Really.
And there are many ways to do that. You have to
Many
be
ways.
open. Got to be open though.
Got to be open. I love this. It's cool. I didn't know that about the hair part. And then, but also you had at one point, you was helping women to do makeup, because you were doing tutorials. Was that during COVID?
Yes.
When
You're
was
right.
that?
I left out the other part of the early iteration. It was Herglo
Yes.
Wellness and Herglo Beauty.
Yeah.
Herglo
Herglo
Beauty.
Beauty.
So Herglo Beauty started with the hair, but then it went into makeup. That's the other thing
Yeah.
that I love from many years of modeling, and then also just loving aesthetic. I love aesthetic and beauty, and
You do.
makeup is, I'm very creative, and makeup is just a way to create a look. You're creating a look. You're painting your face. You're using highlight and contour to shape your face. You're adding color. It's, to me, I see it as fun. It washes off. I don't get into, some people get really into, don't change your face. I'm not talking about surgery. We're talking about makeup. You paint it on, and you can wash it off. You know what I mean? So yeah, it started with that. And I was doing, but I had to say no to that and shut Herglo Beauty down, at least for now, because I realized I'm not a makeup artist. I don't want to do other people's makeup. I like having fun with my face.
Yeah.
But doing someone else's face is a skill, is an art. It's a real
Completely.
art. And I can do some
Yeah.
basic stuff with other people, but I'm not a makeup artist. So I'll leave that to the professionals. So I said, and so it just came down to the wellness and the jewelry, and that's where it's at.
And that's where it's at. I love that. And I'm going to go back one little bit, because even when you were doing the tutorials for the makeup, was there a no in there where you're kind of like, oh man, I have to do another tutorial? Or was it, you literally just said you knew that you liked doing your own? Was there somewhere in there where the process kind of gave you a clue as well that I really don't want to be spending my time on this?
Oh yeah. It's the reality hits you of what it means to have a makeup kit. It's thousands of dollars to build
Thousands.
a makeup kit. For those of you that don't know about makeup artists, all makeup artists have a makeup kit. That's the stuff they bring when they come to or you go to them to get it done at the counter, or they come to your house for a wedding, or whatever you hire or utilize a makeup artist for. all of all of that, the products are in their, what we call the kit.
Yeah.
And they have to have them for every skin color. They have to know, but that's the first thing. That's probably the most expensive part, is the foundation, is just being able to match anyone.
Yeah.
And then different products and variations and their skill level. I mean, you're paying for their, not just the labor of them actually painting your face, you're paying for their knowledge.
Yeah.
What works best where, how to do this, and then it's applying it to someone's face and knowing eye shapes and knowing that, I mean, it's all of these things that, not that I'm against that. I'm just saying, I realize.
No, but you're like, I know my face.
Those are the expectations when you do other people's faces, but I know my face. So I said, okay. And at some point I started realizing it just didn't become fun. It has to be fun. When you start a business, everyone watching this, you may not always have fun because there are certain parts that are very serious or things you got to deal with. Taxes are not fun. That's my biggest Achilles heel lately. But, you know, if you're not having fun, I don't think it's for you.
Perfect.
I don't think it's for you. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
You're not enjoying it, you know?
Not enjoying it. I'm taking notes as you're speaking, right? Yes. If you're not having fun, say no.
Absolutely.
Just, it's not for you. I love it.
Not for you.
Thank
and
you
that's
for that.
okay. It's okay.
And that's okay.
If it's not for you, or if it's not what you thought it was, or what everyone told you it should be. You be honest with yourself. If it's not feeling right, it's not right. That's it.
It's not right. You take the risk, you try it, it's not right, move on.
That's
you know?
Right. That's
fantastic. Right. Okay, so let's talk about where you are today. So you moved back home to Seattle, and I know we talked one point where I said, because I know that there's, in terms of background of your story, you were kind of like, oh, I want to get back to LA because, you know, whatever the XYZ ... And we had kind of had a girl talk, and I had said, well, what about, you know, really looking at where you are and maximizing, you know, the now. And I feel like that was already on your spirit, but to hear it kind of helped you like open the door and say, yeah, I'm going to do that. And I feel like you literally have done that, not just because I said I wanted to sound like that, but it feels like you stepped into yourself in the space where you are. And, you know, we're seeing that you're out there promoting, you're at events, you're at festivals and things. So can you please talk a little bit about like how you stepped into yourself in a place where you didn't expect to sort of be?
Oh, great question. Well, so my philosophy with that is, and I don't know who we attribute this to, because what I'm about to say, I know you know, and you've heard, but you have to bloom where you're planted.
Yes.
Bloom where you're planted, which is one of my favorite axioms. And I want to attribute it to whomever, I don't know who came up with that. I need to Google it. It may have been an author or a poet or something, but point is that's it. That's the philosophy. What does it mean to bloom where you're planted? Well, for me, what it's looked like and what it's become is tapping into what's available around you and opening yourself up to that. And I want to talk just a little bit, I want to touch on just kind of the psychology of that, because it's very easy to shut yourself off from something when it doesn't look the way you think it's supposed to look. And this is a big thing for everyone. I don't care who you are, what you do. Part of that is faith and just trusting the process of life, which I'll get into that probably a little later. But for me, what it's looked like is having to, because I'm from here, it's a little different for me. So my circumstances, this is where I was born and raised. So a little bit of it is like, oh, it's home. And, you know, you're retreading all of your old whatever. And some
LA, London, home.
It's like, that part. And I still get a little of that. But what's shifted, though, is that, well, that was home. This is home. But remember, you grew up here, I'm not going to tell you how many years ago. And things change. Regimes change. Demographics change. Things shift. Some things are always the same in your hometown. But you have to open yourself up to what's new within what's familiar. I'm going to say that again. I want everybody to catch that. I want you to catch that, everybody watching. What can I find that's new within what's familiar? And so, first of all, I'm doing something new, right? This is something I've never done. I've never had it's not a retail store, but a retail business. I've never, kind of taken all this stuff on that I'm taking on with the candy shop. And what really helped, and I'll be very specific for anyone that is in my type of business where you do what we call pop-ups. and you
Hmm.
participate in events, right? So when you have a retail business, you're basically selling. Anybody that's a salesperson uses a lot of selling, or you hire people. I have an assistant now who's great,
Oh, good.
to kind of help, right? But one
Yes.
of the things I found, there's two ways with retail. We have two options. You're either selling online, because I have an online store, or you're selling in person. Okay. So what I found is that most of as I started to do events, so I started to say, well, I want to get out more into the city so people can know me as that brand. We start getting into all the brand marketing stuff, right? The brand recognition and the community piece and the this and the that, So I said, well, let me start doing these events. Let me start doing these pop-ups. I see other businesses doing them. I go to stuff. I love festivals. I love events because I shop. Remember, I
Yeah.
am a sell. So these are things I'll go to anyway. So I started
Right.
thinking, well, how do I get into this? I want to try. And
Yeah.
as I started to do that, what happened was a few things happened, but I'll just touch on the things that I think are pivotal for my business. One, the brand recognition has started to become great. People start associating you with the brand. They start seeing the logo. They see they have a fabulous sign. Everybody, if you sell at pop-ups, get a great sign, invest in a great sign. And all of the typical brand stuff. So the brand recognition, the name recognition, and as I started just being out more, this is my third year doing pop-up. So I spent the last 2 years really focusing on events because online my sales have been okay, but online sales is a different animal. That's marketing, that's ads. You have to have an ad budget and running ads and A/B testing and all this other stuff. So I'm just speaking to the in-person part, which has really helped me the most. All of my sales, not all, the majority of my sales come from in person. They get to see me. They talk to me. They see the pieces. They get to touch them. They see me wearing them. They
Yes.
associate me with it.
Yeah.
It's a whole. What it is you're selling an experience. You're selling an experience. You have to understand that you're not just selling jewelry. You're selling the end result. It's like, oh, you just kind of slanging necklaces and rings. No, I'm not just. That's not what it is. It may seem like that, but also you have to have a quality product. And I don't make everything in my store, but I curate everything. Some of the pieces I make and design, some of the pieces I design and have someone else make. And the rest are like any other retailer you go to, Zara, Nordstrom. We all buy from the same place, some of the same wholesale. It's just a wholesale retail, wholesale retail kind of typical thing, right? You buy the wholesale stuff and whatever. So it's a combination of those two things. It's what I make and then it's what I buy wholesale. But it's all my taste, it's all my style, it's how I
Yes.
put it all together and present it. That's what's
Yes.
going to differentiate you. Now, so
Yes.
those are the pros, right? People start seeing you and they start remembering. And then now I'm to a point, and I'm going to list a couple cons in a minute, but now I'm to a point where they know the logo. They follow me because you're building your online following too, right? You're building that's the
Hmm.
social media side. You got to do that. That's just basic 101. You got to have your social media, and so the email list grows and all of those kinds of things.
Yes.
And people start to find you. They come check for you. Oh, I got the
Yeah.
email. And now what I get all the time, oh, my sister has the such and such and she wears them all the time. And I bought the this and they come wearing the stuff. They come, oh,
Love.
I stalk you. I love your stuff. I knew you were going to be here. And my secret is with everybody I meet, I treat them like I already know them.
Yeah.
Treat them the way I would want to be treated. So I'm very
Absolutely.
warm. I treat them like they're my friend. And so they
Yes.
say, weren't you at the da-da-da and you did the blue and I got the blue, the whatever it is they got, right?
Yeah.
And I say, and usually I remember, I have a pretty good memory. And I'll say, yes, I was there and you bought, I say, oh, you bought those? My sister bought the black ones. Oh, how does she like them? How's she doing? Oh, that's great. And that's not to be funny or phony because
No,
sometimes,
you're just
most of the time I do remember. I just do. I remember. But then
yes.
there's sometimes I may not remember that specific customer, but it's the experience they have with me that they
Absolutely.
associate with the brand. This branding stuff has been such an education. Now I'm to a point, now we got to get into the cons. Can we get into a couple of the gnarly
Absolutely.
cons?
Totally.
So, of course, the cons, meaning a couple of the drawbacks to this is, well, when you do everything in person, you have to do everything in person.
Person.
So I'm doing everything. Like I'm
Everything.
at every event. I have my setup lives in my car. I have to,
Yes.
it's the table, it's the signs, it's the being outside in the 80-degree heat. It's
Yeah.
whatever the weather is. You're inside, you're outside, you're talking to everybody. Sometimes people may not even shop. That doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes that's happened. I've had it all happen. I've been rained out. I've had people not come. That doesn't happen very often. Those are exceptions, not the rule.
Yeah, but it's part of
Usually,
it.
but it's part of it. So I've gotten to a point where, and my intention was always to get to a point where I could hire a couple young people. I was like, I want to hire some young
Yes.
people, who need jobs or whatever, be able to help young people of color
Yes. Yes.
come in and train them so they can start going to the pop-ups.
Absolutely.
And I'll pay them to do that and teach them so they can be learning all that stuff. And then it gives me a break to focus on other
More.
parts of the business that I want to expand. And then also I can focus on making more stuff, designing more stuff,
Absolutely.
working on the workshop. I want to start teaching the workshops again. People don't even know that part of the business. They associate me with now they're associating me, but they're associating me with the jewelry. Then there are
Right.
people who don't know I sing. So then it turns into, now when I do a show, I set up the candy shop. So it's all cross-pollinate. It's you come
Exactly.
see me sing, then come shop my store. It's all of that.
Absolutely.
It's like what Rihanna did, but backwards. Rihanna was established as an artist first, then came Fenty,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
so I'm just using her as an example. Of course, we know I'm not on Rihanna's level yet, but
No, but that's a
the
fantastic
example.
example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so in my case, it's establishing the products first, and then I bring them into the artistry is my big vision.
Yes.
So, I'm to a point now where I have my assistant. I don't use her for everything, but she's going to be with me all through August. So for those of you in Seattle,
Okay.
you will meet Sammy. She's a wonderful young woman of color who's an artist herself. She's really learned the business and she can run it. And so I'm getting to a point where I'm like, Mama is getting a little too old for these pop-ups now, honey. I can't be dragging this stuff all over the city. I did this for 2 years. I didn't realize it had been this long. And I'm
Right.
like, oh my gosh, but I wouldn't have done it any other way because you cannot beat in person. You just can't. Now, I would love to get to a point where I have all online sales, and that's where all my money's coming. People shop while you sleep. You always want online sales, right?
Right.
But you can't. The brand currency that I've built and the brand recognition that I've built and the relationships with people and other things have come from it. And I did really quickly, I'll wrap up. I did a wonderful program here called Seattle Restored, which was through the mayor's office. Mayor Bruce Harrell was an old friend of the family. Bruce has a program out of the office called Seattle Restored, which was established to help some of the businesses in downtown Seattle that were closed during COVID. Downtown Seattle became crazy during all the protesting and businesses shut down. So all these empty storefronts. And so they came up with this idea to connect small businesses with the storefronts. And so long story short, I did a program last year where it was supposed to be only 3 months. It turned into 6. Myself and 8 other small businesses, we had a retail store in downtown Seattle, right in the middle of downtown.
Right.
And it gave us a chance to decide and kind of test if we wanted to have a brick and mortar store. What would that experience be like? Because all of us have websites.
Yes.
And my answer to that is no. I would not like a brick and mortar store.
I do not want that. No.
A lot of work, man. A lot of work, these retail stores. But it was interesting. It was a great experience. I don't have anything negative to say about it. I had met a bunch of other great small businesses. I learned a lot from everybody. And a lot of them connected me with do this event. It was really great. When I got the Tabitha Brown thing, I got it while I was in the store. So one of my buddies was there. She was the first person to hear about it, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to say that because even though the physical in person can be taxing after a while, it's just because it's me. But once I expand, I'll be able to let, some young people come in and kind of learn their way and help them. And then I can focus on other stuff. So I just wanted to really say how important it is to, as much as you can and as you're able, depending on who you are and where you're at in your life, meet people, sell the product face to face to someone. Then we'll see if your product is worth the salt. Have somebody standing in front of you who you've never met, doesn't know you, walks up. Ooh, from the minute the impression starts, the minute they see you, And I've learned, they tell me now my stuff is like great because they've told me. Oh, I love the colors. They tell me what they like and tell me what they don't.
Get feedback.
What is that? What is that? People tell you all kinds of stuff, but you take notes. And now I've not perfected it, but I've tweaked it, I guess, recalibrated it to a point where when you come see me, you're going to get color. You're going to get a fabulous display. You're going to get 1 or 2 people who are happy to see you, who know you're going to treat you like they know you, who have knowledge of the product, who'll talk to you, who'll help you try it on, who'll do all of the things but it took me 2 years to get to that place. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, Sammy, come on, honey, you're gonna do this one next week. I'm
Yeah.
going home. I'm not doing this, but I've earned that. I've earned that,
Of
right?
course you have.
But
And
it's a process. It's a
it's a
process.
process and is a part of the journey. And like you said, look at all of the valuable lessons that you gained from doing that, and then
Yep.
things that you can put right back into your business, and then now you can grow. And that's
Yes.
just, it seems like a natural part of and almost probably, you said it, it's something that everyone should do that's looking to do this sort of work. You have to
I
be one-on-one with
recommend
your
it.
consumer.
Yeah, I recommend it, depending on the product. But if you're in
Yeah.
my world of
Yeah.
a specific kind of retail product,
Yeah.
test it out on people face to. Don't get comfortable online because you don't see
Uh-uh.
them. You don't know them. They just buy it and then you ship it, which is great. But you wait
Right.
till you got to talk to them. You wait till you got to show them how it works. Because then you got to explain it. You got to know your product.
Yeah. You've got to know.
It's a different education, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. In terms of how you curate your products and how you sort of have what you have, has someone approached you and they're like, let me be a part of her glow, and you've had to be like, no, like, have you, without naming anyone, but have you found yourself in that position where you've had to say no, and then if you did, why? Like, what was it, and how did you find the no?
Um, you mean a part of it, like they want to work with you or work for you, or
Yeah,
that kind of
want to
collaborate?
work with you, collaborate. I'm wondering if, let's say I'm a jewelry maker,
Okay.
and I'm like, oh, maybe Ife will like my earrings for her shop, or maybe this doesn't happen. Maybe it's been a different scenario, but something related to either a client or a vendor, or maybe it's the reverse, Ife. Maybe it's something like a vendor. I'm sorry, an event saying, "Hey, come to our thing," but you know that it's not
Okay.
good for your brand.
I have more of that. I have more of
Okay.
that. I haven't
Okay.
had anyone, I don't think I've had anyone with the other examples really.
Hmm.
It's been more so come participate in something I'm doing, that
Yes.
kind of thing. So with
Okay.
that, for me, it's easy to know your no because you have to know your standards, and that's based on the level and the quality of your brand. So you know that you always want to be presented and seen in a particular light, which is the classiest, most high
It's
quality, fun. And then you get into the details, whether it's colorful, whether it's intellectual, whatever you sell, right?
Yes.
For
Yes.
me, for her glow, I'm not going to do anything I think is tacky. I'm not going to do anything
Hmm.
that I think is not a fit brand wise. I'm not going to go to a NASCAR convention and sell. No shade to NASCAR, but that's not my
Of course.
crowd.
Right.
You have to learn your
Right.
crowd. I've had a couple, and now it's to a point where it's a little challenging to now. I'm so glad you brought this up because I'm in a stage now where I'm really curating the events I
Yes.
do for two reasons. One, for the reasons I just named, for is it a brand fit and all the things that go along with
Exactly.
that. And then also because a lot of times these events have vendor fees and they cost money to participate. So you start to say, I do 50 events a year.
Right.
Is it worth it? Am I spending money in some place that's going to benefit me? And that's tricky because there's no guarantee.
No guarantee.
Um, but there are ways you can kind of tell by how the person who approached you, you have to
Yes.
research them, research their
Yeah.
company.
Yes.
Um, you can't predict the outcome, but you can kind of surmise or start to glean things from how does their website look? How did
Completely.
they approach you? Were they
Yeah.
professional? How does it feel? You have to trust your gut in all things, period. So
Period.
if it doesn't feel right, then that's a no.
Yep.
Sometimes you might be tempted, and we've all been there. I've been there a couple of times where you may want to do it because for the money or
Yeah.
let me just do it because, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you just want to do it because of who's going to be there and the
Right.
exposure, or
Right.
sometimes you want to do it because of whatever. And that's okay. I have no judgment about any of that. You
No,
have to do
sure.
what feels right to you. Um,
Yeah.
for me, though, knowing my no becomes easier when I know who I am and who the brand is. And if it doesn't align, it's a no. It's real simple.
It's a
It's a
no.
simple formula. It either aligns or it doesn't.
Would you
And
say
you
that
have
was
to
that?
graciously, and sometimes it's you don't have time. couple things I've been double
Yeah,
booked, or which is a good problem to have, right? It's like, oh, I
for sure.
can't do this because I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And then you have to be really, I'll say this last thing, you have to be really honest with yourself and very picky, then discern based on data. Okay. And that data could be past things you've been through. It could be, I've worked with that organization before and I didn't like that event I went to with them. Or, maybe their values as a group doesn't align. Like I'll give you an example. This wasn't a no, this was actually an easy yes. But there's a group here called Grandmothers Against Gun Violence.
Oh,
And they commissioned me, it's my first ever commission, to make, I think it was like 30 or 40 pairs of a specific earring that I make, ear
okay.
candy that I make, that usually I don't make right now, it's for the fall. But and they wanted to put it, the reason they commissioned me is because they were doing gift baskets for families who had recently had members shot, young men, usually unfortunately it's young men,
Mhm,
who
mhm.
were shot in the crossfire or who were killed from gun violence. And one of the things that they do as an organization is they present these fabulous gift baskets, which are
Oh,
condolence. I think they called them
oh,
condolence baskets or something. And I was
oh,
honored. Of course, I said, absolutely,
oh my
I will
gosh.
make these. And so I sat and made all of them and put them in there. And it was a part of, if I could be a part, as I knew it was important to me to be a part of comforting or
Yes,
bringing some joy or some beauty to this family that was grieving, which is not going to bring their kid back. It's not going to
right,
change what's happened, but
right.
it's about helping them move forward. That's
Exactly.
in alignment with the values of the brand. So that
Right.
was an easy yes.
I love
Now if
that.
it was something that was the NRA or pro gun or something that was the opposite, which
Mhm.
I mean, that's for everyone to decide. I'm not against, if you
Understood.
are a gun owner, that's fine, as long as you registered and you follow the law and all that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
I'm not going to promote anything that's pro something I'm against, is my point, or
Yeah,
something that
absolutely.
I don't feel is in alignment. That's a better word. So
Right.
that's not an alignment.
That's
So
not
yeah,
And also there was a wellness element to that because it was related to grief and wellness, so that was also another side of
absolutely.
your brand.
Absolutely. So that was an easy yes, but
Yeah.
most of my
Most of
no's lately have been scheduling, or it's either been scheduling or I've done that event before and I didn't sell very well there. I'm like,
Gotcha.
I don't think I want to do
Yeah,
that again.
I
That
need
only
to do that
looks a
again.
little, yeah, simple as that.
I love it. This is great.
Yeah.
So many lessons that you're learning, as a business person. And then also, do you feel what percentage, this is a crazy question, but what percentage of your knowledge came from getting that degree, like kind of learning the basics from the education? And how much would you say is even instinct? Is that a question is that even answerable?
Yeah, it's answerable. I've never been asked that question. I think it's majority instinct for
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
The course was okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad I had the experience. It was I would like to. I probably aged out of it now, but I would love to do an MBA
Uh-huh.
program that's a little more rigorous with the business stuff, some of the business
Yeah.
stuff. Um, but I'm glad I had that experience as a whole.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, a lot of it is instinct for me, and then just my own experience. You got to just depend on your own experience. And I gave the past two
Yeah.
years has been nothing but building raw data,
That's great.
from locations to what sells to what people say, how they're going to say it, how they talk to you, how you talk to them. Like, it's just been so excuse me, so invaluable. I mean, and then my gut is everything.
Yeah.
So I go with how it feels or what I,
Your
you
gut is
know,
everything.
and then just being open to try, oh, I've never been there. But I'm very intentional, not calculate. I'm very intentional. When I
Yeah.
do things now, it's very intentional. It has to have a purpose. I'm not going to do it just to do it. In the beginning, I was trying to do everything because I just wanted to see what they were
Sure.
like. Now I'm like, I've
Yeah.
done this, I did that, that worked, that worked, that didn't. And now I'm
Uh-huh.
very intentional about curating, my time, my energy. There's certain parts of, for example, a regional example, there's still certain parts of the state I haven't been in. I want to do more things on the east side, which is across the water from Seattle. I want to do more things here. I want to get in front of these groups more, or, you know, um, so it's being intentional
Yeah.
about what you really, really want to do, and it all has to come
I
back
love
to
that.
your business principles and your business goals.
Yes. Okay. So
Yeah.
trusting your gut, being intentional, looking at your goals.
Yeah.
And so I want to transition into the other part of yourself, the other part of your love, and that is the singing. And I have your music and I play it. Um, I used to use it when I did the Brown Betties workshops. I would use it as part of the warm up, and I would just play because I just love your voice. It gives me so much joy. Do you, number one, I did. You're welcome. Would it be weirdo to sing? Do you think it will work? It probably won't. You just like
Maybe a little.
It like pops out, but just like a little.
It's so funny. Do that again. A little what? You're so funny. One of the things I love, listeners, viewers, one of the things that I love about Peppur and our friendship is we always laugh. We always laugh. And it's just so fun. So much fun. We have little inside jokes and stuff, just so funny. But anyway, yes, I could do a little, maybe a little.
Okay. I want the internets to work. I want technology to work. So let's just pray. Go for it.
I just had a show. Let me preface it by saying I just had a performance here in last month. It went really well. There's some video of it floating around on my Facebook page, a little clip.
Wonderful.
And I did a little bit of Love is Where You Are. Love is where you are. I did a little bit of that. I did that whole song, one of my originals, and I did a couple covers and stuff. I did Ooh, and I like it. I did that. I did just some fun music, fun evening. So what do you want to know about the music stuff? Do you want to know like?
I don't know. I want you to sing one more. Can you do that? Ooh, and I like it just a little bit more, please.
Well, what do you want? I can do a little. Everyone loves "Love Is Where You Are." I can do a little "Love Is Where."
Okay.
"Love Is Where You Are."
Just like
hard to describe the way it feels since I met you. It's like you opened my heart. Sweet memories, they fill my mind. I can't forget you. And I knew it right from the start. 'Cause I get so anxious, so excited. Can't wait to be with you again. 'Cause you make me feel so alive. I won't settle for platonic. Can't be just your friend. Heaven's just you and I. Oh, love is all around you. I will never leave you. I'll stay by your side in every place you go. I'll follow. Love is where you are. All right, that's all I'm doing.
So beautiful.
It's a fun song. I wrote that a long time ago, and every time I do it, people love it. Yeah, new music is really the thing to be doing, and what I need to be doing. I'm kind of at a crossroads with music. I haven't told anybody this publicly.
Are you?
A little. Sorry, I have allergies. Sorry, I'm sniffling.
That's okay.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm. I don't know what I want to do with it. My love for it is still there. And I went through the struggling artist stuff when I was in LA. I did that for 7 years. I've never promised myself I would never do that again.
Never again. I know.
When I do my art again, it'll be from a place of abundance, not from lack.
Yes.
So I don't even use that term struggling artist. I don't even put that on myself because I'm not struggling to do my art ever again. But I did the whole, we were all younger and sleeping on the couches and being broke and doing shows and all that. And a good experience for me, but not, so I just have to decide. I don't know. There's so much going on with the music industry, as we've all started to see things coming out. And, the music industry has always had a dark side to it. Not the music, the industry around it.
Industry. And if we're generalizing, especially for women, like generalizing and saying.
Yes, absolutely. And really, I'm a songwriter too, and I just want to write for people and do stuff. So I'm still going to pursue that. The artist performing part, this last show I did was kind of a little test. It was a small, intimate thing. I meant for it to be a small thing where I would do some songs and kind of start to reintroduce myself. Some people here know I sing, some don't, most don't. I haven't performed here in a while, so that was my first time kind of doing it in a while. And I got a wonderful reception, wonderful response. It's a lot of work though. I don't have a manager. I don't have anybody doing this with me. It's me
I know.
doing everything all the time. And I'm a little weary with that, to be honest with you. And it's hard to do shows. You're kind of starting all over again, getting people to come.
Exactly.
And then you got to set up, pay for the food and pay for rehearsal and pay. This stuff isn't free. Like
Nope.
I want people to
No, it
understand.
ain't.
Like I could get on the camera and just sit and just sing into the,
There's an answer.
and do a TikTok. I mean, yeah, people are doing that. You can do that too, just to do it. And maybe I will do it just to do it when I want to. But if you want to make a living at it,
Yeah.
there's some realities that go along with it. And I don't know if I want to put energy into it again in the same way. I don't know.
I think
Oh,
let's we're here. Let's talk about it. I think that, I hear you putting the energy into something. You love it, yes, and you're good at it, yes. You've proved many things with this side of yourself with singing. And there is the business side of it, and there is the schlepping and the doing all the things. And I think there's something to people like us who have gone after, I'm calling it the dream for the sake of calling it a dream, have gone
yeah,
after the dream, gotten
yeah.
a taste of it, gotten to some level of success, got burnt out by it. And then, but the love, like the talent even, has not gone away, won't go away. Like dance, even for me, dance, can I dance like I used to? No. So in some ways the dance is gone. But with singing, just staying in this lane of where the talent is still there. And there's I'm getting this vision of like this lovely round circle of yumminess. Like it's still growing and you know what I mean? Like this still exists. And like you said earlier, a few minutes ago, like, well, what do I do with it? What do I want to do with this?
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. And I'm going back to some of the things you said in terms of, your intuition uh, and your gut and looking at data.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious about the answer within there. I don't have it right now. I'm going to my psychicness. But I think that there's something about you literally just saying love is where you are. Is that what was that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Love is
Yeah.
where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know my no. That's the beautiful thing about with music. I know my no. My
Yeah.
no's. There's more than one.
Yes. Yes.
No to the casting couch, no to lack,
Exactly.
no to anywhere that doesn't respect your art or it doesn't want to receive, being asked to do things for free, certain things you will, you won't, you have to discern. But I know I don't want to, I'm very clear that I had to remove my expectations.
Mm.
You're first doing it and you're younger, and I don't want to put age on it because you've
I
been
know
doing
it's not
it.
age. It's
It's the time
newness.
in your life, I guess.
Yes.
It's the time in my life, which for me happened to be late 20s into 30s, 20s, 30s in there. Um, and you're a kid, you're a younger person, and you're just going off of your dream, and you're hungry,
Completely.
and that's okay. And you have to carry that hunger. I don't care how successful you get. Some successful people get a little too lazy and get a little comfortable, and they don't study and they don't warm
Absolutely.
up. And there's a discipline to singing. I'm very big on that. There's a discipline to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is the expectations I had, I'll speak for myself, that I had
Yes.
where you just want to, you don't know, really, the business, but not really. You just want to, you've been kind of bamboozled by the end result. You grow up seeing your idols. So you grew up
Absolutely.
Whitney, for me, in my age group, it's Whitney and Prince and Michael and all the, and you only know the end result. You don't know what they would. Now it's coming out. The veil's being lifted. Now we're kind of may go in a little different direction with this conversation. The veil's being lifted a little more, and the public is learning. People on the inside knew this,
Right.
are learning what it really, how some of these people passed, or how the drugs or the
Absolutely.
secret groups that run things, and that stuff is all very real. And those people can approach you to do things, and there's it's what is happening around the art. It's not music. Any singer will tell
Correct.
you, you still love singing, you still love to do it. It's still, you grew up watching your faves and knowing all and
Yeah.
listening to radio and all. That's the era I'm from, of real singers and the
Yeah.
radio. And that was my
Yeah.
life. It was literally
Yeah.
my life. You know what I mean? I had a big
Yeah.
pink, I had this big pink radio. I used to, listen to music, you consumed it in different ways before social media. It was when MTV was starting and BET. I remember when we got BET in Seattle. You know,
Yeah.
people always think y'all think there's no black people in Seattle, which is annoying. But anyway,
It's like we're here.
so you know, my point is you have all these expectations, and you just know you want to do that. Well, I just want to make records like Whitney. I just want to make
Right.
records like Madonna, like whatever. These are
Yes.
people from my era. So who are the real, for me, the real established talented stars? We have some now, but I grew up with a different
For you. Yeah.
set
For
of
us.
criteria for art, real singing,
Yeah.
and instruments and writing and all of that. So, sorry, and yes, that's shady. Sorry, Gen Z. This stuff you got now ain't it.
Ah!
But anyway, so you know, once you learn, and the veil is, and see, Hollywood is an illusion.
Yep.
So once you really start to get in it and learn, like, oh, y'all don't really own this. This isn't really oh, you're a drug addict. Oh, you don't even want to go to the studio because you're high, or
Yeah.
and everyone's giving it to you. And this is the culture. And this is, you're doing this to get here. And all of these things. And it doesn't mean you still can't have a career. And this is what I keep telling myself. And I know that there are levels to careers.
Levels
If
to careers.
you just want to sing, you can. I have a friend here I call her my favorite singer in Seattle. She's an amazing singer here that people know. Had a publishing deal in LA, left all of that because she wanted to be here to watch her nieces and nephews grow up. So her and her wife are here, and that's what she did. Everyone here, not everyone, but a lot of people know her voice and know her. But she chose to walk away from certain things because she was like, I can sing here, but this is more important. So that's the other thing, is deciding what's really important to you. What are you willing to give up? What is your no? Are you willing to do anything for fame? And we've gotten to a point where that's the question you got to ask yourself. And if you don't, which I'm not, that's the no that I've come to. I'm like, there's just certain things that I'm just not going to do.
Yeah.
I'm just not, period. That's my no. There's certain things, we don't have to get into it here, but there's certain things that I am not going to do to be famous or whatever, to be known. So then the next question becomes, well, if you're not going to do those things and you're not going to be on a Beyonce level or on a set. One of my friends who's a singer reminded me a couple months ago when we were talking about this, and I was like, well, what are we going to do? And if we don't get on that level, what level are we going to be on? And how's it going? He said, listen, those people, Beyonce, whomever on that level, he said, we don't know what it really takes, what it took them to really get there, and what they have to do to stay there. And that guy, I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I was like, he was like, listen, don't get caught. Don't worry about that. He said, because you don't know what's really going on with them. You don't know what they've given up and what they continue to give up to be where they are. That's what you see, and you're kind of naive when you're young, and you just see the end result. That's what I mean by you see the glitz and the glamour, but the dark side of it, not to sound grim, but that's what it is. That's literally what it is. And that's hard for me because it's something you love so much. That's a beautiful gift from God. That's an art, has all this other stuff around it. It's like you got to walk through the woods to get to the diamond or something. It's like you got to go, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do all of that. So then the question becomes, well, there are other things you can do. I have other talents. I have a whole other business. I have a digital marketing business. I'm a writer. I'm a marketer.
I know, right?
So I don't just write songs. I'm a writer. I have a degree in journalism. I have other things I can do, but it's just like, well, then if I make money here, then I can just do music for fun. So that's kind of how I've been thinking about it. Like, well, maybe I'll just do it because I want to do it and won't have any expectations, and I'll just do it. But it still demands a lot of you. I have to sound right. It has to look right. I have to rehearse. I have the discipline of performing and writing. Even if I don't perform, I'm just in the studio. Girl, just to record an EP, I was going to do an EP of 3 songs. There's a whole thing. I have to pay for it. I have to schedule it. I have to write the song. I have to arrange it. I have to work with somebody, the producer. You can't escape the work. I don't care what the end result is. There's work to it.
It's work to it.
Yeah, you can't, and that's okay. I've accepted that. I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to just do it for me because I want to do it.
Yeah. I have a vision of you. I have a vision of you right now standing at a baby grand, a black baby grand. So I'm giving that to you, whatever that looks like. So,
I love a piano. I wish I played better. I love that.
Well, no, you're standing on it. You're standing next to it and singing it. So that's with it. That's my thing. Okay.
Oh, I love that. Love that vision.
That's coming. All right. And all that to say, not to be like, Ife, you should be singing. I know you and we know each other enough to know that that's not what we're saying right here. But we are saying it is the exploration of the no.
Yeah.
Am I saying no to it? And if so, what am
And
I
being
saying?
honest.
Being
Being
honest.
honest about what it really means when you say no. What does it mean when you say no? Well, it means there's certain things you won't do. Okay, so then you won't do them. But then what else are you going to do? What are you going to do
What else are
instead?
you going to do?
What are you going to
Yes.
replace it with? Or if you're going to do it this, not going to do it this way. I'm not going to do it this way. Okay, well
Yeah.
then how are you going to do it?
How
What
are
way
you
are you going to do it? What I mean, if you're not going to do that, then what are you going to do?
What
And
are you
then
going
you
to
have
do?
to think about it. Well, oh, you're right. Well, what are you going to replace it with? What is it going to?
Oh,
Because
I
it's
love
still going to be the same
still going
discipline,
to
the
be
same skill, rehearsal, the same. It's just what it is. So you have
completely.
to decide how much do you want to do it? How badly do you want to do it?
Oh, I love that so much. Okay. All right. We're at time, and I want to do two things, please. Will you
Okay.
say your full name and the meaning of it?
Oh boy. My full name?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Ife Valerie Elizabeth Thomas.
Say it again, please.
I'll break it in three parts. My first name is Ife Erigen. It's hyphenated. Erigen, Ife is a city in Nigeria. It's a Yoruba name for the Nigerians that are watching. I am not Nigerian. I know the follow-up question. No, I'm not Nigerian. My dad came up with the name. My dad is actually West Indian. My dad's the Afro-Latino stuff is on my dad's side. Ife is a city in Nigeria. Erigen is Nigeria spelled backwards. When my parents were married, way before I was even thought of, which is what I was told, they knew they wanted kids and they wanted a little girl. My dad's, this story has changed several times over the years, but the last version I have, they were in Nigeria visiting West Africa, and they were coming up with names on napkins, trying to write down names, come up with names. And my dad said they saw a little girl on this dirt road or whatever. And he was like, we're going to have a little girl. And so he wanted to make sure I went back and retraced their footsteps. So he named to be Ife. Ife, the full name is Ile Ife. It's a city. I said it's a city. I'm sorry. It's also a religion. The university used to be there. Used to be University of Ife, but now it's something else. I was so upset because I wanted to go and buy out the bookstore and buy all the University of Ife gear. But now they changed the name. But
no.
Yeah, Ife is also. My dad is a jazz aficionado. And Ife is a song by Miles Davis, and Erigen is a song by the Miles Davis Quintet. So, and my cousin was Carmen McRae, a famous jazz singer, if you know jazz. So the jazz, it has a dual meaning. It's the Africa and the jazz, both black, both very black, and I love it. Ife means love, by the way.
Yes, Ife means love.
Yeah.
Okay, love is where you are. Ife
Yeah.
is where she is.
Yes. Yes.
And maybe it's Carmen that I'm seeing through you at the piano, and she is saying, come.
Maybe. She was
my
something else,
friend.
boy. What a singer. She was a jazz singing as a whole different kind of singing.
Well, but okay, I'm gonna let that marinate and be excitement. Okay, I'm gonna do business now, and I'm gonna say the next knowing your no. Please hold as I figure out. Dun, dun, dun. The next Knowing Your No will be August 25th. It might be the 26th, but right now it's August 25th. And with a lovely woman, her name is Brandy Davis, with the Lager Lane group, we have a podcast called Lager Lane Spirits. And we just got back from going to Kentucky 2 weeks ago to the Bourbon Trail. And we learned all this stuff about bourbon. And Brandy was with us, and she's a part of the Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild. She's amazing, fantastic. And we were somewhere, and she literally said, well, you have to know your no. And I was like, bing, oh, we have to talk. So that's next. So just talking about Brandy Davis. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to Ife's thing, ticker tape show. Okay.
That's cool.
Thank you so much. These are the things we're learning. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for sharing your journey, your voice, your beautiful art, all the things that make you who you are, all the loving things that are Ife. Thank you for your time. And I love you. And
you're welcome. Thank you, Pep. I love you, Pep.
I love you too. Okay. All right. On that, we say, and it's great, right? It's fun. It makes you remember things, and you're like, yeah, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go say no today.
I love it. This is wonderful. Thank you, Pep.
Thank you. Okay.